Today is May 15th. This is Thera Williams, and we are in Microbiology Week 2, and we will be doing Exercise 1, Culturing Microbes in Broth. We will begin by washing our hands thoroughly with soap and water.
So I'll be putting on my apron. And I'll be putting on my mask. Open up the glass.
Okay, next we will disinfect the work surface by wiping the area with a 10% bleach solution.
We've done that before we got started. We did that before.
Okay, we will use a permanent marker to label one of the small plastic cups as alcohol and fill this plastic cup half full with alcohol and place it on the work surface. Next, we will place the pipette in a cup of alcohol, making sure the alcohol enters the stem of the pipette. Place a candle on the work surface and ignite the wick using the match or lighter. Using the permanent marker, label a nutrient broth tube E. coli. Okay, place the E. coli vial and label nutrient broth on the work surface near the candle. Remove the pipette from the cup and expel the alcohol inside the pipette back into the cup by squeezing the bulb. Shake the pipette while continuing to squeeze the bulb until no alcohol remains. The pipette is now sterile. While holding the pipette, pick up the labeled nutrient broth and gently remove the cap. Pass the lip of the broth tube through the flame of the candle to sterilize the surface. Place the uncapped broth tube on the work surface and repeat the steps for E. coli culture vial. Pipette 0.25 milliliters of broth from the nutrient culture vial. Be careful not to touch the sterilized rim of either container with the tip or pipette of your glove. Replace the lid on the culture vial and shake vigorously until the tablet dissolves. Pipette the dissolved tablet solution from the culture vial into the broth tube, being careful not to touch the rim of the broth tube with the tip of the pipette or your gloves. After transferring all the solution from the culture vial, flame the lip of the broth tube to sterilize before screwing on the cap.
Put it in there first and then put it.
Transferring tablet. I guess so. After transferring all the solution from the culture vial, so you took everything out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Flame the lip of the broth tube to sterilize before screwing on the cap. Okay, set the inoculated broth aside and place the pipette into the disposable cup containing the alcohol. Make sure to draw alcohol into the stem of the pipette. Repeat steps 9 through 20 for the epidermidis culture vial, using new broth tube labeled S. epidermidis.
Dog. It's a dog. It's a dog. 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 Doggy. 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 Doggy.
This one not breaking up as easy.
Dog. Dog.
We're going to open the yeast packet and carefully place approximately 1/2 teaspoon of the powdered contents into an empty disposable cup.
Is that the whole thing?
It should have told you to get a 1/2 teaspoon measurement thing in your directions, but it did not tell you to do that. But it's
1/4 teaspoon?
a 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. Now label a new broth tube S. cerevisiae. I'm sorry. Don't do that. Repeat. Sorry, add approximately 1/4 cup warm tap water to the yeast and swirl until dissolved.
We'll sterilize it with hot water. So 1/4 cup?
Yes, ma'am. I think the water was too hot. Swirl until dissolved.
I think that's about it.
You got some at the bottom still.
That's crazy. This is going to be interesting.
You might have killed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Allow the cup to sit for 10 minutes until it begins to froth. Label new broth tube S. cerevisiae.
We should have probably did that first.
Did what?
Put the water near the cool.
Repeat steps 11 through 14 for the S. cerevisiae broth tube. Yeah, if it was going to want you to allow it to sit for 10 minutes, it probably should have had you do that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next step involves that, and it hasn't frothed yet, so. Should I pause it or? Okay. And pipette 0.25 milliliters of the yeast mixture from the cup into the broth tube, being careful not to touch the rim of the tube with the pipette or your gloves.
Okay, now we already sterilized the tip of it. And the candle went out.
After transferring the yeast solution, flame the lip of the broth tube, which we have already done, to sterilize the cap before screwing it on. The candle has already been extinguished.
Yes, it has.
We're now going to sterilize the pipette in alcohol and store with the candle. Safety goggles, mask, and apron for use in the next exercise.
Okay.